Hello, and thank you for being with us. This is Neurographica Basic User Course for August 2021. And my name is Nat, or Natalia Kolev. I'm an instructor of Neurographica, certified from the Institute of Psychology of Creativity in Moscow with Pavel Piskaryov. And here with me is also Anna Romanenko. She is also an instructor of Neurographica. And I'm gonna let her talk about a little bit how she came to know Neurographica and about her story. And then I will talk about my story. So Anna.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our group. My story was very simple, typical. I was going through some challenges in my life, and I was looking for some instruments to support me without much talking. I did not like talking, especially when there was some childhood traumatized experiences where I could not talk about. And I went through some challenges when nobody really was understanding. Everybody was scared, including myself. And so there was a lot of emotion suppressed inside of me. So visiting Russia, I was meeting one of my classmates from childhood. Like I know her from my 4th grade in school. And in coffee shop, she said, like, I'll show you something. I don't know how it's working. Just trust me, it's working. Try it. And on a napkin in a coffee shop, she showed me the first catharsis and how to round and draw the narrow lines. And it was so fascinating. It was like, really? It's so simple. Like even remembering it, I have some shiverings. And she's like, and she is a professional psychologist. Like she's not certified instructor. I learned this method, it's working. So I came home, I was visiting my parents. I found some old pencils, some paper from the printer, and it was enough for me to start drawing. And I was so addicted to it because there was so much to release. And I had several albums later to work. And what I loved, that things started happening. I was relaxed. I was not so anxious or angry at people because I could not talk to them. I had my way to release emotional pressure, and magic starts happening around me, inside of me. Neurographic really helped me to change myself, and my life aligned with this, like, because in the last 5 years we had some child leaving house for college. We had some challenges, and after 20 years of marriage, some challenges with my husband. We had another son who is a teenager. So all this snowball that we experienced, I was able to manage because I had my magic catharsis. So whenever it was too much, I was just like, okay, I need to release it. And other methods starts coming later when I was able to recognize them. So if you are looking for some instrument that really helps you to find internal peace, and it could be done just on yourself. I did not go to gurus or any big psychologists or big groups of people who are gathering together for mindfulness, because I was so afraid of brainwashing. So I'm still be very cautious about it. So I wanted to have an instrument that I can be responsible for and it still be effective. So no, without involving other people in my internal process. Now, when I know my truth, when I know what I'm standing on, I can go and judge, or at least be aware what people are talking. Does it resonate with me or not? So this is, for me, it's a magical instrument. I have to warn you, it's just the beginning. You can learn Neurographica. It will be impossible to unlearn it because it's just so simple. It's encoded in our body, in our mind. So if you, it will help you to meet your resistance, to meet your reality, not create illusion of the reality, but really be prepared to face as it is, with all its challenges, with all its complications, conflicts, and it still find your internal peace. So I'm very happy for you. I have the same shiverings when I teach this course, because this is the moment when, like, really, it's so simple. How this nobody before was thinking about something beautiful and something so effective. So very excited about you. So Nat, this is my story.
Thank you, Anna. Wonderful story. And now that we have some people gathered, we still are waiting for you. But I would like to ask you to introduce yourself and to share what brought you to this course, and what are your expectations? What do you want to accomplish from this course? So whoever wants to start, you can also say, where are you located? Where are you at? Sure.
I'll go first. I'm hoping my internet connection holds, but I'm Andrea and I'm from Illinois in the United States. And I had two friends, one's in Belgium and one's in Panama. And they were exploring what they had found on YouTube with Neurographica. And first I was just like, what? You know, because I like to draw. What is this stuff? Why are they rounding? Why are they doing that? And I finally had an understanding through one of my friends of what they're doing. So I started exploring, and then I started listening to you both on YouTube myself and exploring a little bit further. Now, a whole stack of papers later, I'm probably on 50, and I'm doing them on all kinds of things in all kinds of ways. I can't stop. And I'm very much a metaphysician. And so the mystical side of this and the curative side of this appeals to me because just because how I've been trained, I understand the healing power of it. And I find myself in my dreams rounding corners.
Yes, that's what happened every time.
H2.
Once you get to 10 or more and you start dreaming about it very, very quickly. Thank you, Andrea. Very, very good. And what do you expect from this course?
I want to use it with my coaching.
Perfect.
I want to use it for myself always, because I can feel it. If I feel it, I feel the web that I'm in. I feel every time I do a drawing, I feel it. I sit with it for a day. I feel like it has a aliveness to it. So I know it is transformative. And of all the things I've learned from being a Reiki master to being a coach to I was a massage therapist, any number of healing modalities, this is top. This is up there. This is fun. This is fun. We need to make it fun.
Absolutely, yes.
So that's how I intend to use it.
Thank you, Andrea. Very good. Okay, anybody else? Yes.
Yeah, I can go next. Hello, everybody. My name is Julia Gabrielle. Gabrielle, I use as my artist name. I'm an artist, but I also have a degree in therapy from Copenhagen. I grew up in Copenhagen, but I'm Russian, like our coaches, actually. So last year, I signed up for Neurographica, and I bought a course that I never finished because I didn't have a guide or a coach. And then I ended up taking a certificate in expressive arts therapy. so this year I took Mari, and then I remembered, oh, okay, I have that course that I never finished, but I need a teacher actually and a support group. So that's why I signed up. So I worked with therapy and and with colors and shapes. So like it's very dear to my heart and I love it. I don't know much about it. I only did one session with Neurographica with Abdeva. Tatiana Avdeeva, and that's it. But I'm really excited. So that it seems like a really fun way to heal yourself and others.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Julia. Very happy for you to be with us. Thank you.
What we find out when we do coaching, the Neurographica really tries to peel off all these words around the problem and go directly to the cause. Without naming it, you can heal it. So this is a very effective working, especially with experiences that cannot be verbalized. So I combine Neurographica with constellation work. I combine Neurographica with shamanic work. And you can see on YouTube, there are some shamanic practices that very well integrated with Neurographic. So you can, it's a beautiful instrument, very flexible. So.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else wants to introduce themselves? We are trying to create a community so you know each other, and we will be together for 4 weeks, and it's very nice to know the people. We cherish every one of our students. Yes, Kathy, or who?
Hi, I'm Kathy. I'm from the Gold Coast in Australia. It's 2 o'clock in the morning here.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes. I'm a kinesiology practitioner. I discovered something really interesting on Pinterest and then followed across to YouTube, and I just fell in love with it. Yeah. So I use it for myself, and I hope to use it more for myself, but I hope to use it with my clients.
Okay, Kathy, thank you for being at 2 a.m. with us. We had other students who stayed with more than one course with us live. And we also have recordings because it's hard on your body. So be mindful. Sometimes you can waken up a lot of energies, and then you know for yourself, take care of yourself. Thank you. It's great to have you. Okay. Elise,
Can
yes.
you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm from Dubai. It's 8 o'clock in the evening, or just past 8 in the evening here. So I'll see if I'll stay with you until 12 o'clock. Yeah, I was invited to a session with a Neurographica coach here in Dubai, and I fell in love with the method. And of course, summer here is extremely hot, so I stopped attending classes and started doing all your YouTube videos. I'm absolutely addicted. It's been 3 months, and I've been drawing every day. I just love it.
Good, great. What do you expect from this course?
Just to work through some resistances. I have a big problem with accepting change. You know, I have to work through it and analyze it and overthink things to death. So I'm hoping to work through all these resistances and really come to accept things and trust more that the universe is unfolding, or the way that things are unfolding.
Beautiful. Neurographic, we call it art meditation because it helps people get off of their thinking mind and concentrate on drawing and coloring, and you get into a state of meditative state similar, without really having to go through years or long meditation training. So it's very good for thinkers. like myself. Welcome. Very nice. to have you.
Thank you.
I used to work with several software engineers. My husband is software engineer as well. And they call Neurographica, it's the only meditation we can do. They call, I can be in them without really sitting and be quiet. I can do something. I be actively participating in my meditation. And at the same time, I can calm down my mind. The best compliment I've heard from my husband about Neurographica, it's better than Sudoku.
Yes, I can agree with that.
Definitely.
I use it all the time. So
Thank you. Okay.
does anyone else want to introduce themselves? You can just say name and the country you're in.
Hi, teacher. Hi, Miss Nan, Miss Anna, and everybody. Good morning to all of you. Nice to meet you. And I'm from Malaysia, from Asia. This is my first time to join on my course, and I learned from the neurography is from Facebook. Then I try to understand to how to release the emotion and try to learn and hopefully can help and to share to other people. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Welcome. Nice.
Yeah,
So we have all around the world people, Asia, Australia, Dubai, Copenhagen. So we have many beautiful.
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Hello,
It's
Tara.
Tara Tamang from Nepal. And it's 10 o'clock now here, 10 p.m. And actually, I'm an artist. I do art, but it was like, it's not giving relaxation to me. I was like so much stress about my art, how to do it. And there is so much techniques. Sometimes I feel like it's so difficult, you know, and I was just searching some kind of art form which relax my mind, and just I found this Neurographica. And from that day, I just started to see YouTube videos, and I was doing, it was like not for others. Like for my art, it was, I have to think how to express so that others will impress. But for this in Neurographica, it's for myself. I'm doing, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm doing it daily. Whether it's good or bad, I'm just doing and really enjoying. And my intention to join this Neurographica is I want to know more about this so that I can just tell to my friends that it's really helpful, because lots of artists I see, they have the ability to relax them, but it's not using actually. It's creating more stress. Artists, even they are in stress. So I want to know this so I can tell to my friends, I can do more about this. That's why. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. Welcome. So you are first one from the Nepal. So
Yes.
we haven't, so we're expanding our geography. And the biggest rule in Neurographica, the artist is the most important in Neurographica. It's more important than the art they create. Art is just a reflection what is going on inside of us. So the, like, you are the treasure. This is why we are doing the whole process, to help ourselves. And art, you can like the art as a result or not. It's not as important as your state of satisfaction. So
Yes, very true. Very true. So there is no bad or good Neurographica drawing. There is something that's going on inside of you, and that's what is valuable. If you have, and it's always you have the result inside of you. It just you can notice it, and it will come with time. So it's you will learn it very, very fast. And it's a good to start with it. Good to know where you're going and to consciously do this process. Thank you, Tara. And we have Robin. Thank you, Robin. She's not able to turn on her camera or sound, but hi everyone, I'm Robin. I'm from Seattle area. I'm not able to be on audio video as I have other working in the background here. I'm an artist, found Neurographica when somebody posted their picture on Instagram. So tried it myself and found it enjoyable. So wanted to learn more. Looking forward to doing more drawings and getting to know you all. Thank you, Robin. Welcome from Seattle. Anna is also in Seattle.
Yeah, some neighbors.
And I'm currently in Dallas, Texas. I'm originally from Bulgaria. My mom is Russian. And the Neurographica was created by Pavel Piskaryov, who is a Russian philosopher and architect and psychologist. So Anna and I get to study with him in his institute and received our certifications from there. Now, since we live here and we are wanting to share Neurographica in English, so that's how we started a year ago, actually, a little bit over a year ago. July last year was our first course together, and Anna
I
was
believe June.
June, yes, June. And before that, Anna was my instructor at the institute, supervisor at the institute when I was studying, and this is how we met. We actually never met live. We just talk online thanks to this amazing technology. And we want to spread it to as many people as possible. The difference that we strive to give this information and the teachings as close as possible to the original one. You will receive from us some modifications, options, but we always start with the classics, the way that Pavel is teaching it, and so you know the classics first, because on the internet there are a lot of variations and people are combining Neurographica with other things and creating their own already new understandings, which there is nothing wrong with it. But if you know what is the basics, what is the classical way, then you can discern for yourself later on. So there will be a lot of things repeating over and over in this course. The reason is just to get you to remember the basics, so you can use them for the future, or if you decide to step aside from them, at least you know where the classics is, where the basics is, and then you can choose for yourself. Neurographica was developed 7 years ago, and it's a still growing method. It is new, and even Pavel himself is adding and creating new deeper understanding and maybe a little bit of changes, but the basics is already there. He published several books in Russian. Unfortunately, they're not translated yet in English. But once they are translated, we will have the language, the terminology fixed, because right now every instructor is translating from Russian and they're doing the best they can, but they can be variations. So we already had to change some terminology from before, and you will see if you watch our previous videos. The reason is because the institute themselves is changing some terminology, but the meaning still stays the same. So if you stay with the meaning and have in mind that it's translation, then you're gonna be fine. My story, I came to Neurographica very suddenly. I was in a completely different field. I was in finance and accounting, but I had since a very early childhood, I always wanted to be an artist, but never felt that I'm good enough. And my parents always told me that I need to have something that will bring money and not just be an artist. So I never was able to realize my dreams. And by the time I was having my family, I have two children and my husband and working, I was still unhappy and trying to find myself. And was never able to find myself in the corporate world or with what I was doing. And finally, I found Neurographica, and very quickly, I couldn't stop drawing. It was obsession for me. The moment I found, like in few weeks after I found it, my job was terminated. So I decided to go straight away to sign up for the instructor course. And this is how I ended up here. My whole life was changed. And through this year of drawing the instructoral course, it was a lot of internal processes happened. I got a lot of understanding about myself, trusting myself, and found new realization for myself. And I love teaching these courses. I love drawing Neurographica, and I dream Neurographica, and it's every time I have deeper understanding, like what Andrea said. There is these energies, these lines that are connecting us, and it's a lot more than just a drawing. It goes way deeper than what we can see or even what we can say. For me, I sometimes draw Neurographica with my eyes closed, without my hands, just in my mind, rounding and connecting people and rounding the situations inside my head. So it is an amazing tool. And with this introduction, I want to start a little bit of technical information about our course. So I'm going to switch my camera, switch to, you will see my screen. 1 second. Okay. Sorry, I forgot what button to press to start the presentation. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. So we are starting with the basic user course of Neurographica. This is the beginning course, and the reason we need to start with it, it's prerequisite for the other courses. If you decide to become a specialist or take any of the advanced courses like neurocolor, neurosketching, you would need to have the basic one. The basic one has certificate, but certificate is doesn't give you the right to teach Neurographica, or it's not enough training for giving you the rights. But it is a first step if you want to go toward teaching or coaching with Neurographica. That's why we have the certificate, because to show you that it is accredited by the Institute of Psychology of Creativity, and that we are certified instructors, and we are certified to teach you this course. The course itself is 8 hours of classes, but we are teaching more than this. We are giving you material a lot more than this. This course is designed to be 8 hours. This is how Pavel is teaching it. And this is how some of the other instructors are teaching it. With us, there will be more than 8 hours. We teach it on Fridays, 11 a.m. Central Time, US. And today is the first class, which is an introduction and getting to know you and getting to know us. The main teachings will happen on August 20th and August 27th. Those will be 4 hours classes, and recordings will be available. So don't worry, if you need to leave or something happens, you will have the recording and you can watch it at your convenience. And even if you are in the class, live classes, and you want to review the recording, you're always, it's a good idea to do it, and you will have the recordings. So I will be teaching the class on the August 20th, and Anna will be teaching the class on August 27th. After that, on September 3rd, we will have a final Q&A session where you will be able to ask any questions, and we can go over some main points. We found that it's necessary for some people to refresh after those classes, because they go so fast and they're so dense. So another fourth session we are adding for question and answers. And again, recordings will be available of all the sessions. After those two classes on August 20th and August 27th, you will have homework. 2 drawings after each class, and you will have a week to submit your homework. We will review them in a video. We will create video of reviewing your drawings, and it will be as a feedback. This is not to criticize them. This is to give you feedback. How can you improve, and to answer, like maybe something was misunderstood or something was missed. It will help you to adjust as you go, as you draw, to adjust something if it's needed to be adjusted. With the supervisions, they will be recorded, as I said, and we strongly recommend you to watch them, not just piece of the supervision that is for you, but to watch all of them, because sometimes you can find something that other students is doing that can be useful for you, something that you may not have paid attention to, or something that is just done differently. It is so you will benefit from watching it, and you can put it on a higher speed if you don't have time. Sometimes they're long, and you can just speed it up, the video. And we have a Facebook page, and I have created a Facebook chat. And we have few people who do not use Facebook, and they will be on email. So if you do not use Facebook and prefer just emails, I already have the 2 people who contacted me. But if you also don't want to use Facebook, it's okay. I will send you the links to emails. Just let me know. And now I want to go to the Facebook group to show you how to navigate. I did already send you a video about it, but it is nice to Facebook, sorry. Okay, I need to get rid of this. And so it's a little bit of, here we go. So on the Facebook group, this is our public group where you can stay afterwards, and we post some free classes. But on the Facebook group for the basic user course, we have created guides where you will have some information useful that you will need, additional recordings and templates and PDFs and tutorials to practice. For you at the end, we have an assessment test. It is a very easy test. It's 10 questions, and you can take it many times over and over. And we also have a file with recordings of the previous classes for you if you want to review them. Every time it's a little bit differently because of the questions being asked. So people ask different questions. And then if you go to click more and then go to media, and in the media there are photos, videos, and you click on albums, and albums for August are album number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So in album number 1, I will provide this link, and you should be able to open like this. There is a title for a picture for the album, then a picture, a sample picture with description. This is I added for you to see. We will need you to provide a description, but we'll talk about it later. So just mentioning this. And what I want to show you right now is how to add your own picture. So you click on add photos on videos, upload photos on videos or videos, select the file to upload, any file, and below this file, there is an option to add a description. So here you add your description and click post. And after you post it, you can go back and there will be 3 dots next to the drawing and your name. You will be able to edit. If you want to add your description here now, you can do it, add more something, or edit it. You can do it from these 3 dots here. I will just delete this right now. If for any reasons you are struggling with this, just feel free to send me your drawings with your descriptions. You can send them through the messenger or through email, neurographicacademy@gmail.com. If you have any questions, please ask them here in the discussion section and tag me or Anna. The chat is mainly for our reminders, and some people have them on their phones, so we don't want to bother them all the time if some people may not like it. So the questions in the main discussion group. And again, if you have any questions about Facebook, just let me know. One more thing, there is a file section in the Facebook group where there are a lot of information like glossary for terminology that is explained, additional file for if you want to print, it's like a PDF file where all the steps are listed, and you can keep it with you when you're drawing and just jog some notes to add to your description, but we'll go over it later. But you can look through the files now. With our classes, you have lifelong access. So once you do this class with us, you can come back for no additional cost and join other future classes. And you will be with the group or just watch the recordings, replays of the classes as much as you want to. Sometimes it's good over time, so you can do it now, and then 6 months later you decide that you want a refreshment and new understandings will come in, and it will be good for you. And tutorials. Okay, so you saw the tutorials under units. Those videos are very short exercises. They're good to do just for practice if you feel like you need. They're not, you don't have to do them, they're optional. But there are 2 videos that we prepared for you that we want you to watch before the next class, before next Friday. One is called 10 Principles of Neurographica, explaining the ideas around what is in the mindset about Neurographica. Those principles are created by Pavel Piskaryov himself. This is his philosophical understandings and what he wanted to, what he based on his teachings on. And the second file is, the second video is Pyramid of Consciousness, which is also a theory by Pavel Piskaryov, and it links our levels of consciousness with the steps of the algorithm that we will be learning. So there are 7 steps, and each step corresponds to different state of consciousness. We go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and we connect and connect and connect more. Those are basic fundamental things. And please watch those 2 videos. I will send you the links reminding you about them. They're also in the unit sections. But after the end of this class, I will do a post with the link to this, to recording of this class, and with all of the links that I'm mentioning as well. And if you have questions about those 2 videos, we'll be able to ask them in the group or at the next session on next Friday. Anything I'm forgetting, Anna?
there is a presentation, PDF presentation that you can review as well. Some about history, some about Pavel, and we tried to organize it as much as possible. There is no any additional material that Pavel is providing that we can translate. So we had to create it from the scratch. So please review them. Pay attention that the names could be changed. In the presentation, we used the name that Institute provided us or guided us to use year ago. Now, when they start teaching instructoral course, they use a little bit different definitions, but the meaning still be the same. And they promise that it's most likely will be changed again. So it's not like we want to be different. It just, there are many options to translate big philosophical concepts. And we try our best to be aligned with the Institute. So just be aware of it.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, let's go back. I'm going back to the presentation for a second. At the end of the course, after you submit 4 drawings and receive supervisions for your drawings, and you have done the assessment, which is the 10 questions test. And also there is one thing I'm forgetting. So there is an agreement that you will need to download and sign. It's a PDF agreement for basic user course. Basically, it is asking you to agree that you will not be teaching this material after this basic user course, because it's not enough teaching training for you to teach it. That's the reason for the agreement. And after that, okay, so you can download, sign it. It can be electronic signature, and just email it to neurographic@gmail.com. And after the course, you will receive the certificate from us, which is actually the certificate from the Institute. They accept this certificate, and the seal is from the Institute of Psychology and Creativity. We're authorized to give those. Yes, in today's class I talked. And now I will mention a little bit about the materials that are used for Neurographica. You have seen a lot of drawings on the internet where they use Neurographica with acrylic paints or watercolor paints or any other paints. But I have to tell you that Neurographica is a graphica, which is contrasting method of drawing, and it's not meant to be done with any paints. It is meant to be done with markers and highlighters and pencils. This is how Pavel is teaching it. And of course, there are exceptions. The reasons for this is that we use this very contrast, the lines are contrasting with the lines we draw with markers need to be contrasting so that our mind, we can see them clearly, and it will be creating neural connections in our mind. And if you use some paint over it, it can be smudged. But then we have other steps after the coloring that we use markers over the colors. So the best way is really to use pencils. What kinds of pencils? we use Prismacolor. I use Prismacolor, Anna uses Prismacolor, but there are other pencils that you can use, other brands. They need to be soft, so you can color easily with them, and not to create soft pencils allow you to create smoother color, which is very, very important for drawing Neurographica, because if you have stripes with the color, it creates a sense of conflict. And during the basic user course, we will talk a lot about resolving conflict and creating a state of harmony and peace. So it will be important for you to spend time and make your colors smooth. If you have good markers, you can use them for coloring. Again, should not create stripes of color. Highlighters, Pavel uses highlighters a lot. If you want to experiment, it's not necessary, you don't have to use them. Highlighters are not my personal favorite, and I don't use them. I'm good with colors, but it's an option. We always use paper that does not have lines or squares. It can be different colors. We will, when we teach, we use white paper, so it is visible on the camera. And we use black markers. So again, so you can see it better, but instead of black, you can use any other color of markers. During this basic user course, we advise you just to use, when you start using, for example, on one drawing, you decide that you don't want to use black marker, you decide to want to use a green marker, for example, for the lines. Stay with the green marker for the lines through all the drawing. Do not switch from green to black marker in the middle of the drawings for this course. Later on, you will become more proficient and will be able to combine different color lines, but it requires more time and a little bit more skills. So it is possible to do. We will teach you how to do it. It just requires more time and more proficiency. Why to avoid crayons and oily pencils? The reason is that one of the last steps in the drawing is, again, going with the marker over the colors. And if the colors are already oily, markers do not go very well over those. Please have some paper, scrap paper for writing, because during this process, we will record our experiences, what is going on through the drawing. And one way of doing it is if you have a sketchbook, for example, with thicker paper, you can have your notes on one page and your drawing on another page, if you want to do this to keep them together. Another way will be if you have a sketchbook that is bigger size, and then you can have part of the page for your notes and part of the page of the drawing. But this is not ideal because your drawing is kind of squished and not finished, doesn't look, it is possible to do, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just not ideal. The other way will be to have a drawing and to have your notes on a separate, and then you can staple them to keep them together. This is also optional. Or you can write on the back. Usually what you want to have is at least the date and the topic of your drawing, and what is the algorithm that you were using, and some notes for the drawing if you want to. This is not required, but one thing about Neurographica drawings that you can come back at any time in the future and look at it. And if you know what were you drawing about, you can reflect with yourself and see if something has changed, something have shifted, and then you can go ahead and change something on the drawing, and it will reflect back to you. So we've seen this with other people who have drawn it, and I have done it myself. One drawing that is done over months and months and months of time, it still have an effect on me. But we tend to forget, people tend to forget the topics, tend to forget what was it about. So it's a good reminder to have it written on the back side. And several more things. Any questions so far about the materials? Any questions about the materials? No. Okay, good. Okay. This is Professor Pavel Piskaryov. He is the creator, like we mentioned. He came up with the name Neurographica. There was no such name before April 29, 2014. He heard this name, as he describes, in a dream, in his sleep when he was flying in an airplane. But the idea about this method was already forming in his mind. Just the name came to him in April 29, 2014, and this is considered the birthday of Neurographica. So he is an architect. He apparently, obviously, he likes graphical drawings, and he's also a doctor of psychology, and he's a Reiki master. He's also martial arts student, and he has some achievements in the martial arts. I'm not sure what belts does he have. He is a spiritual student. He studies and also he is now developing part of his institute to teach spirituality. So Neurographica now becomes just one limb of his institute. He is teaching a lot more than just Neurographica. And the institute is called the Psychology of Creativity in Moscow. Pavel constantly is doing publications and his public appearances, interviews. He has already several books, I believe 3, but he has plans for more books. Besides the Neurographica, he's developing meta-modern way of philosophy of thinking about the world and consciousness. And we now talk a little bit about Neurographica. So we mentioned that Neurographica is a method for personal transformation and change inside of the artist. It is not, the importance is not what you're drawing, but how this process changes yourself, your inner state, and your perceptions about the world. There is a lot, there's connections with mirror neurons when you, when we look at the world and what we see, how it reflects, we are able to reflect everything inside of us. And another theory is the neuroplasticity. It was discovered that neurons in our brain never stop growing and never stop creating connections. So we are not locked at the state we are right now. We can always change and evolve. Psychologists used to think that by the time you get 21 years old, your neural connections are fixed, and this is what you will have for life. But with the discoveries of neuroplasticity, we know that we can evolve and change through all of our lives. There is no limit. There is also a lot of correspondence with the law of attraction, which you are familiar with probably. It's very popular. And it states that whatever you think about, whatever you focus on, this is what manifests in your life. When we draw Neurographica, we can first change our state. If we come from a negative state, with the techniques of Neurographica, we can change it into a positive, peaceful, and invigorating and joyful state. And then we are being immersed with this positive state for longer, as long as we are drawing. And this is what is beneficial for us to attract from the environment, from our world, to attract all those positive changes for us. The longer we stay, the longer we emit this energy of joy and calm and peace and inspiration, the more we send those signals to the universe, the more we will receive back this state. Okay, and this is for the next class. And for now, it's already 1 hour past. If you want to, if you need to leave, you're welcome to leave. I know some of you are late. Or if you want to take a little break, we will take 5 minutes break, and after the break we will do some exercises. So please prepare a couple of sheets of paper. They can be printing size or smaller sizes, and please get 1 coin. It can be any coin, and some markers. We'll just draw some, or pencils, whichever you want. So what I wanted also to show you, well, we'll talk about it later. Okay, so just 5 minutes break, or get some water, or stretch, or do something if you need to do. Okay, we have a question about pyramid of consciousness. And are there going to be something for another class? So we have the levels, we have a PDF that is accompanying the recording where the levels are listed. It's in the file section. If you
Okay.
cannot find it, I can show it to you.
Okay.
And it is, this is how, to understand, we are not going to be talking about it unless you want, you have questions about it. So if you have questions, we will go over it when we start teaching the.
Right. I just didn't get the names down correctly. I know I didn't. I think I'm still missing something. I took notes, but it's like they're not adding up. So
Yeah,
if you have
okay.
if you have a PDF, then I can find it that way.
Yes, yes. There is a PDF in the file section. And here's me. My drawing. Okay. So everybody is back, and what I wanted to show you about the materials. So there are very thin materials that you can use, like 01 pen. I'm using the Uniball pens. You can have black or different colors. There are other also, Stadler has these markers that are very, very thin. You can find, and I think Sharpie has ultra thin Sharpie as well. When we start drawing, I would recommend you to start with not this very thin markers or very thin pen. Start with something like regular Sharpie, and for the lines, at least in the beginning. As you progress, you can go to the thinner ones, but in the beginning, we will be really trying to get to smooth lines without any strikes, without any hair sticking out of them. And that's why if you have a little bit thicker marker, it will be easier, at least in the beginning. Later on, you can do. Another thing is that if you get different thicknesses, you can use, for example, regular Sharpie for the lines, and thinner one, like ultra thin Sharpie for the roundings. And then a very thick one, like there is a Sharpie, that is thicker Sharpie, I forgot how it's called, that we can use for the field lines. We have one of the steps will be thicker lines that we need to do. You don't have to have a very thick one. You can just make the lines with a regular Sharpie, just going over and over and creating thicker lines. So it's not required, but it's a little bit easier if you have a thicker one. So draw with the regular size, or I have this Faber-Castell that is 1.5. It's a good size to draw from for the beginning, the lines, and then round with a little bit thinner ones, maybe 1.0 size. And for the field lines, use thicker if you want to. What to avoid with those markers? There are some that are like brush, and they are very soft, and when you draw with them, you're almost using like a brush strokes, and they create hairs coming out of the lines. We want the lines to be smooth and not to have those uneven edges around them. So this will be important. And this is what I wanted to say. Now I'm going to switch to the drawing.
I just want to mention, like, we named the brands of markers or materials. If you are in a different country and they are not in your stores, don't worry, use what you have, because we just name Sharpie because they're one of the decent, cheapest materials in US. We have no contracts with Sharpie to promote this. I actually stopped using them because they're quite stinky. The smell is very strong. So find the materials that are available for you. Again, there's no obligations like you would use only this pen because we love it. We love it because we were able to find it in our country. Like if you have different materials available for you, maybe you have even better. So try to find different ones.
Yes, exactly. Good point, Anna. You don't have to find what you have available, and you will have. I don't like the smell of the Sharpies. Yes, either. What brand do you use in place of them? There is this Faber-Castell, and there is Faber-Castell that are not that smelly. And Anna is using, I know she's using thinner ones, the Uniballs. But for you, really, for the beginning, try to find something even off-brand, something that is, this has two sides. One is a little bit thicker and one is thinner, and it's an off-brand marker. Find something that is not soft, not like a brush, but harder, and use it.
Brush could be used for field lines. It's actually could be a very good instrument to draw thicker lines. But I use Staedtler, I use Faber-Castell, I use Uniball pen. So again, we are not looking for big brands. We are looking for the instrument that you can be comfortable with. So it could be very cheap materials. And I highly recommend to use the cheapest ones because you will need many markers. They will be your, like, I use a Uniball. It's not very cheap, but I use one pen a day. So it's my investment to have a good pen. So I just changed the ink and it's refilled the ink, and it's working well for me. You can find the cheapest materials for you. The only recommendation, use permanent ones, because when we use other colors on top of them, we don't want them to be too smudgy. And if you use the black marker and the highlighter on top of it, there will be smudges. So permanent markers for lines is the best.
Yes, thank you. It's a good point, because you really don't want, you want to be drawing, and whichever materials give you the pleasure to draw, that's what you use. Everybody needs to find their own materials, what they will use, because if you buy a lot of things that are expensive and then you're just not using them, that's missing the point. You want to be drawing, you want to be using them. Okay. And
Yeah. again, you don't need fancy materials. My first drawing was done on napkin with a regular blue pen, and it was enough to work. So the Neurographica does not require you big investments in materials. I have the list of the materials in guides. You can take a look what I'm using, but it's because I'm teaching and I want, and I'm just quite spoiled with materials. I have too many to choose. The goal is to show you what is the best on the market right now. Again, it's not a requirement to be successful or effective for Neurographica. Neurographica just need one marker or one pen in any paper. So there is a freedom for you to choose.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. Okay, so Neurographica is combined of two words, neuro and graphic. And we have the A because it's a Russian word, grafika. We add the A, that's how it sounds. And a lot of people cannot comprehend it, but that's the original name from Russian. And neuro relates to our brain, to neurons. It's a very popular word right now. We have a lot of discoveries and a lot of scientists working on neuroscience, neuro connections, neuro physiology. Everything is about the brain. And the other part is about the drawing. Graphica is a drawing technique that has that is contrastic. So we have a lot of contrast between black and white or other colors. So it's not the watercolor, it's not pastels, it's those are not graphic materials for drawing, like I mentioned before. Today, we will be practicing a very important part of Neurographica. The first part that we will learn is about the line called neuro line. It was discovered and developed by Pavel Piskaryov, so it's also called Piskaryov line. And it has two properties. One property is that it does not repeat itself. We will talk about it. And the second one is that this line is not spontaneous. It does not, it goes where we do not expect to see it. We don't expect it. And to show you how it is done, we will do some exercises. I invite you to get some not a very good paper. I mean, you can take a good paper, but it's not necessary. This is not going to be the main official drawing. This is just for us to do some exercises. And first, we will learn about the first part is does not repeat itself. So repeating is if I draw a pattern that is repeating, or it can be repeating without the corners, but it is repeating. Even the line, the straight line, it's repeating itself. So we are going to avoid this repetition. This is the first part. And the second part is we will not be drawing it where we expect to see it. So if we're going to do an exercise to draw lines in the direction where we do not expect to see them. So, if you can get a marker or a pencil or anything and a paper and just touch your marker somewhere on this paper. And now imagine, trace, where do you want to draw your line to? We're going to be drawing straight lines right now, but later on we will change them. So this is exercise just for direction. So for example, I'm thinking I want to draw my line this way. Instead of drawing actually this way, I'm going to change a little bit and draw not an opposite, you don't have to draw it opposite, but just change it a little bit. And then I want to draw this way. Instead, I'm changing it a little bit. And again, I want to draw this way, and I'm going to change it a little bit. And then again, I want to draw this way. I'm going to change it a little bit, not opposite. So I invite you to try and explore a piece of paper when you will just start from somewhere and notice, ask yourself, where do I want to draw? I want to draw this way, but instead I'm going this way. I want to draw this way. Instead, I'm going to go. It can be just a slight variation. You don't have to do the opposite way. I'm going to give you some time to practice, to do this exercise. And we notice how you feel when you do it. We will discuss after. How do you feel when you try to do it? And you can do it a little bit faster once you get the idea of what you're. And so just do some lines like this.
Notice that it's not a spontaneous line, that you still have a control to change the direction. You don't know where exactly it's going, but you know where you don't want to go. You don't want to repeat the same pattern, the same movement as you've done before. Because if you just repeat the same action, you will have the same results over and over.
Yes. If you were able to do this exercise, can you just type number 1 in the chat box, please? And if somebody was not able to do this exercise or had some difficulties with it, please let me know.
It could be quite emotional process to change direction. It could be awakening strong resistance.
Yes, and this is the next question. How do you feel after doing it? Straight lines seem difficult. That's okay. You can do not straight. Doesn't have to be straight. Just going into, when you do a line, just try to notice where you want to go and go into different direction. We're doing stop and go just for practice. This is not going to be Neurographica later. We are just practicing one aspect. And like Anna said, it may make you feel uncomfortable. So it is to change our old pattern. Yes, because if you draw spontaneous lines, if you draw lines that you expect to see, then you are just repeating the same patterns. But once you do something differently, and you notice it, you are changing your brain. You're changing the way you think. So who felt uncomfortable with this exercise? Were you able to notice any emotions, anything inside of you? Everybody felt good.
If everybody feels good, something wrong.
Okay, Andrea, you can unmute yourself. You don't have to type, just unmute yourself and share.
It feels like I'm going against my intuition, going the opposite direction instead of going with where the intuition would be saying. It's saying, no, go slight another direction.
Yes, exactly. Uncomfortable, right? Yes, it feels very uncomfortable. It is it's taking time to change direction. Yes, in the beginning we are just exercise. This is just exercise. This is just an exercise, but this is the base of Neuroline. The main idea is that we are not going to be drawing something that we are repeating, we are spontaneously drawing. If we want to change the way we think about something, we will have to change the line to go in a different direction.
Usually the Neurographica has always the purpose to change our life. How we can change our life if we don't change simple stuff, like how we change our big goals or reach big goals if we don't change our mind and our perception in the process of how we're thinking, how we communicate, how we talk to other people. So we are looking for change, and we start from the basics, from the Neuroline. Neuroline represents processes, any process, as I mentioned already, thinking, communicating, reaching out, approaching your goals, or anything that you do is everything that you do is represented by Neuroline. So this is actually the most challenging, how we can be cautious about processes, about our approach to everything we do. So the Neuroline is the biggest thing in Neurographica.
Yes, yes. So let's move on to our next exercise. And again, notice how you feel when you do it. So if you please get a coin, and what we will try to do is we will try to push the coin in a direction we want it to go, and we will see how it does not really go where we were pushing it, but it is slightly different. So I want to push her this way, horizontally. Look what happened. It's not going horizontally. And if I try faster, you will see it. So it's an unpredictable way. This is kind of the line, what neural lines are. And if you struggle with, we are not going to be drawing with the coin. It's just an exercise I invite you to try and do. So everybody, if you can just try it with a coin.
This seems like a very good exercise and beautiful neural lines, but the trick is you have no control over it at all. So it's beautiful, it's soft, it's changing the patterns, but you are not the driver. You are just pushing and I don't know where it's going. So it's how we can combine this surprise effect. I don't want to, but it still have some power over it. We still have some decisions, some conscious choices to make. So next exercise, we will try to combine both of them.
Yes. Were you able to do the exercise? Was everybody able? Okay. And did you see how it's out of your control and the line is not, you cannot control the line. It's going into different direction. So now we're gonna try and do some neural lines as an exercise, and we will be drawing them. First, start slowly and think without stopping, but if you notice where you want to go, just change it a little bit. You don't have to change like to the opposite way, and just start drawing it slowly. Just change maybe 10 degrees or 20 degrees. Don't stop. Do it continuously. And right now, just do it very slowly. So let's try and do, everybody try and do neural lines.
It's actually a good thing that you're losing control. Awaken your curiosity. Follow and see like where it's taking you. Be surprised where it's going, guiding you. And notice that you still have some control. You're not limiting it to one direction. You're open to any direction now.
So if you have done at least one neural line, could you share your experience? What do you observe and how is it going for you? What do you feel? How do you feel? You can unmute, you don't have to type, you can unmute and just share.
It feels a little uncomfortable for me, especially since I'm a control freak, so it will be a good exercise for me to continue doing, but it does feel a little uncomfortable.
Very good, very great observation. Very good that you're noticing this about yourself, and it's spot on, great.
Pay attention how you're breathing during changing directions. When you draw the neural line, pay attention. Do you breathe?
Are you holding your breath? Yes.
Is it shallow? Is it deep? Do you exhale? Because we have this tendency to inhale a lot and don't exhale at all. So just pay attention to the way you're breathing. You don't have to synchronize it with the breath, but just pay attention. Okay. Observe it.
Anybody else? How are you feeling? Do
we have perfectionists here? Such a rare kind people.
Nobody is perfect. Nobody.
So this could be a challenge for perfectionists. Am I doing it right?
Is it? Yes.
Is my neural line perfect?
Yes, yes. And you are doing it right, and it's hard to slow down and go a different direction. Yes, instead of just following the flow. Very good. It's something to work on. That's good that you noticed it. And again, I will repeat it again. It is not spontaneous. It is not following your regular intuition, because we are changing our state.
Okay.
For me,
Yes.
For me, the most difficult, the most challenging was not to change the direction, but really realize where I want to go originally. If I would just keep moving, where this line would follow. And this like surprised me how much attention I need to pay, what would be my next action. Because we just do what our body always does, and we need to pay attention and be aware of it.
And this is something that you will start doing faster and faster. We are doing it slow just to get to know it. This is an exercise right now, but you see how they are not repeating the pattern. There is no pattern that is repeating. There is always different. And now we are gonna learn the round. So
that, excuse me, before we go there, Robin, I see that it's hard to slow down for you. Pay specific attention to slowing down. There could be some sensitive topic for you. Usually it's related to fear, that we are trying to run away from it, or like really speed up to avoid big emotions. So the slowing down may awaken in you big level of emotions, and embrace it, let it go. So just be aware that it can be your specific quality. If I slow down, I can go deeper. The speed makes a huge difference in Neurographica.
very good. Okay. Everybody tried to do some neural lines, right? Everybody. Okay. And now I want to show you the rounding. So rounding, I'm going to show you first with a ticker. So if we have two lines crossing, and we have four corners. We're going to talk about corners and how they represent what they represent in the next class. They represent conflict, but we want to round them and make them safe, and we're going to talk about it the next class. How do we do this? By creating an arch and coloring inside. So create an arch and color everything inside of it. But since this is already thick, we continue this thickness a little bit further, because otherwise we will have a very thick, we'll do it all four corners, but extending the thickness further with the line. So we don't stop the rounding only at the very crossing. We extend it and smooth it out, so it's continuous, and it does look like neuron connection. Another name for rounding is connection, connecting two lines. So very important, again, we extend these roundings, make the lines a little bit more thicker in the beginning until they become thinner further on. Does it make sense? So what will be wrong if I have two lines crossing and I just do roundings here, this is gonna be wrong. I'm not extending, I'm not making it, I'm just having a lot of thickness here, but what I need to do is extend this and extend it a little bit further. So it is creating like a nexus connection. And I, in the beginning, spent more time with smoothing all these roundings. Later on, you will have, you will do them better. That's why starting with very thin, like very thin Sharpie is not a good idea. I've also seen roundings that are done like they just draw a circle around the corners and color it. Well, what it does is create more corners. You see, instead of 4 corners, now there is corner here, here, there are 8 corners created. So this is also wrong. And sorry, I'm gonna repeat it for the 3rd time to extend this rounding, extend the thickness where you can, of your connection towards the line. And let's just go back to your previous paper where you drew some neural lines, and we just start rounding those corners for practice. And let me know how you feel now after you have done some rounding. Do you have any questions about roundings? How to round? This is very practical. I just want to leave you with some practical tips, and the theory, we'll talk about the theory behind the roundings next time.
I personally prefer to use thinner markers for rounding. Like
Yes.
if you use fine tip for lines, use ultra fine for rounding. It's just easier to do.
Exactly, yes. If you have different different thicknesses of materials, you can do rounding with a little bit thinner pen or marker than the lines, but don't start with the thin lines. It's going to be harder to round. Start with a little bit thicker lines, and then if you have done some roundings, has anybody done already drawn some roundings on their paper? How do you feel now? Did anything change for you?
I haven't had it on this one, but when I do it on my other drawings, I get a big sigh every once in a while, like, that's that conflict or something. Something makes me relax.
Relax. Okay, that's what the sign. Good. Yes, exactly. And
I still have can I ask a question about the neural lines? I'm now
yes.
really confused.
Yes.
I'm a meditator. I'm used to stepping into an altered state. And when I draw, I've been I alter myself. But I guess what I'm confused is bringing, I don't know what state to be in is the thing. I understand following intuition, but this doesn't sound quite like that.
Yes.
What state am I in? Where am I with this?
So this is the first stage of the, we're going to learn the other steps. There are 7 steps altogether. And first step when you draw neural lines, you are modifying. So at first we have the catharsis. We're going to learn about the catharsis. Catharsis will represent your current state, which is usually something you want to resolve. So let's say it's a block. It's emotional conflict. So you put it on the paper, and it is a representation of this negative block. And then you go with neural lines and you modify, you change your state, you modify this negative expression. And to do it, you change your neural pathways. You start thinking and seeing it in a new way. So it's not the old way you are used to do it. Even it's hard to explain it with intuition, because depending on the state you are in, your intuition may be protecting you, and then you will fall into the old patterns.
Okay.
The goal is really identify the repetition of your situation. Like if you have an obvious pattern in some situations, this is I find it and change it a little bit. We are not have to go in opposition. So you can do it in a I think we have different meanings for the intuition, you and I. So you can follow what the body wants to do, what is your nature wants to do. But for us, when we draw neural line, we want to create variation for our body. We want to create variation of different approaches to our goals. That I'm not just limited to the same pattern I repeated constantly. I want to have some options, maybe shorter, maybe longer ones, but to see if there is any other opportunities for me around. You don't have to constantly change the neural line. It will be overwhelming, constantly be aware of what I want to do next and change it. We don't want to stress about it so much, but we want to recognize if I'm going too much in my pattern. Does it serve me anymore? Patterns, we need patterns. We need comfort. They bring comfort, they bring peace, like, oh, I know what to expect if I do the same stuff over and over. Right. So that's why we love symmetry. We love to have some sinusoid, like to draw the same patterns over and over. Zentangle is based on it. It brings comfort to us. But how we can step out of our comfort zone and do something new, to grow on a different level. It doesn't have to be you don't have to be in conflict with your intuition. You just create a bigger opportunities for you. And also, we actually try to teach you how to trust your intuition, in choosing colors, in choosing shapes, how to listen to yourself, what the guidance you have in your body, but at the same time, how I can expand and don't stuck in my comfort zone. Okay. Does it make sense, Andre? Very good question.
Yes, it's a little bit better. I think it's just a change in languaging, which, right. I believe I was using my intuition before, which is a good thing in my world and what I'm doing, because I was not in the state of controlling it. I was in the state of fluid. Because if I look at my drawings, none of them are the same. None of them are expected.
Exactly. Very good. So in our life, we have a lot of things that we repeat, like when we wake up in the morning, we go to brush our teeth, we don't really question it, we put on our clothes, and these are good patterns. But if there is something you want to improve on, and something you want to find, like a blind spot. If there is something that is a conflict or situation that you want to resolve, and if you follow the same things, that's the same behavior that brought you there, you will not find the answer. But you need to find a new way out, something to find it.
I like what you said about going fast. Also, I have a tendency to go fast. So slowing down is going to be my thing I need to work on, slowing down. Yeah.
That's good. Okay. Any other questions? Very good, Andrea.
Why these lines are called neurolines? Because they are, if you see they look like neurons in our brain. So, and they are directly connected to our brain. So through the fine motor skills, we are encoding new connections. We're imprinting new connections in our brain. Pavel is calling the drawing neural lines is a brain surgery. How I am creating through the drawing, how I impacting new connections in my brain. So we are really creating new emotional connections as well.
Changing the state we are in right now, and looking for new solutions and new opportunities to improve. Okay.
And the
Yes.
beauty of the Neurographica is that through the physical action we are drawing, we're using, activating fine motor skills, we're impacting our brain, and in our brain we really activating the whole body. We start vibrating, we start resonating, we're awakening our emotions. So it's not just I created a beautiful image of my desirable goal, I start feel it in my body. My body will take over me and bring me to my goal. So this is, we are really, it's not just like drawing, it's you active with all your body. That's why we're asking, pay attention how you're breathing, pay attention what is going on in your body, how you change the posture. Is there any stress or like distress or discomfort in your body? So we will talk about a little bit more in our next class, but this is the ultimate goal, how I can make my body starts working. So it's not, so I don't have to constantly think about changing something in my life. My body will bring me there. And I will start vibrating, and the surroundings will resonate with this vibration. If you see that all neural lines look like brain waves, the gamma, alpha brain waves, and by drawing different brain waves, you can attune yourself to different states. It's interesting, it's two-way highway. So you can, if you just follow your intuition, as we discussed before, the drawings will reflect at which state you are right now, which is good, which is very important for us to be aware where we are right now. But if you want to change the state, if you want to have a different emotional state, or just because it's the new goal requires a different approach, you can change it by the drawing different waves. You attuning, you training your brain to vibrate on a different level. So the drawing, and it always starts with diagnostics. Any drawing, your catharsis will represent the diagnostics of your current present state. And slowly when we aware where we are right now, we learn how we can change it a little bit in comfortable, slow pace. Does it make sense? Did I confuse completely everyone?
No, I think it was good, and we will have more information. I just wanted for the first class to do these exercises, and this will be for this class. You don't have homework. Just if you want to practice some of the tutorials, it's optional again, or just practice drawing neural lines before next time, and watch the 2 videos, the 10 principles of Neurographica and the pyramid of consciousness. And I just wanted you to share at the end, how do you feel right now and what was helpful for you from this class? You can unmute, you don't have to type, you can unmute and share, or you can type if you, whatever you prefer.
For me, it's slowing down with the neural lines, and I'm going to play with all that you've said. I'm not sure I quite understand, but I'm going to play with it. We're going to see where it goes, because I've done so many drawings so far that it's like, all right, what does she mean? But if I play with it long enough, I think I'll understand what you're saying as how to do the lines.
Yes, the intuition is good. We are learning to tune to intuition, but if you are working with a state where you have a blind spot and you want to see the way out, then you need to change something.
Okay.
And again, the intuition will show you what to change. You just need to be attuned enough in this direction and not going in circles and blocking yourself.
Okay.
Because intuition can be also protecting you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you have to think of any particular subject while drawing these neural lines, or just draw freely?
We always, one of the steps of the algorithm when we draw Neurographica, we always have a subject, a topic. Today we just did exercise, but because everybody already is being with their own life, I mean, the life is going on, and everybody already has their own topic. It's just we didn't emphasize today on the topic, but we will be learning that's very important part about the topic. And
so the homework, we're gonna make 4, right? Drawings. So next weekend, Friday. So we have to have a particular subject in mind, right?
Yes, so next class, when we have a class, it will be a 4 hours class on next Friday. We'll do 2 different drawings in class, and we will use just one topic for both of them, because main rule in Neurographica is to when we draw in a day, to stay with one topic. Not that you cannot break this rule, but it's better not to do it so you don't overwhelm your brain, since a lot of changes are happening. And if you try to change a lot of things at the same time, maybe overwhelming. That's why we will you can think of a topic for the next time. And it can be something that comes up for you on next Friday, maybe for the few days or a day before that, you will have something that you need to work in, that happens in your work or at home that you want to resolve, or you can start thinking about the topics today already. So thank you. Good question.
And I have a personal homework for you. Try to see, like, every day when you repeat something, like I'm going for a walk or I'm going to the store, try to change a little bit the direction, the path. You don't have to find a new road to your work, but maybe you have a different parking spot, or you find you walk not on one side but cross the road and see how you can walk on another side of the road. This will give you opportunity to meet new people, to look from a different perspective to the same scenery in your neighborhood. It's if you walk in clockwise, go counterclockwise. See how we can change just a little bit in our daily life, the same patterns. Surprise yourself. You will be amazed how much more new information you can find if you just change something very small.
Anybody else wants to share what was was the important thing from this class for them?
When I do that first one, changing the direction, I feel like every time I was doing Neurographica where I want to make the lines, you know, and this time when I changed direction, it was like my mind is showing one direction and my hand, you said to change, and it was not changing. You know, I was doing so slow. It was like pause and doing too much. And in the second one, I feel like I was losing control. It was like I'm started to feeling goosebump, little bit goosebump. I was like, what is this happening? You know, and I just typed a message also. And when Anna said that it's like it may be the new opening for the new direction, then I said, oh, it can be. Then my thoughts started to relax. And when I do third one, for me also it's difficult to do slow process. You know, I just want to do fast, and it was slow. But while doing rounding, it was like very relaxing.
Thank you, Tara. And so these exercises are just for today. And later when we draw, you can choose your speed and you can do it faster or slower, but just be aware whether you want to do it faster and why do you want to, are you running from something or is it
towards something
or something. Thank you so much. Very good. I'm glad you felt good from the rounding. Thank you for sharing, Tara.
Yeah, just practice drawing lines and roundings. Feel especially for those who are new to Neurographica, try to round differently. Some people gently touch the corner. Maybe it's time to invest a little bit more energy and ink in roundings. See how you can be different every time in your drawings. Don't afraid to make mistakes in Neurographica. Everything that you do is perfect with Neurographica. You are trying to discover yourself. And sometimes it could look messy, but it's opening opportunities for you.
Exactly. And just the more you try, the more you practice, the better it is. Don't be afraid of messing. There is no messing it up. Everything is good.
If any questions after this session will be, please don't hesitate. Don't wait till the next week. You can post them in the Facebook chat. Not in the chat, but in the Facebook group. So everybody, not just the August group, see your questions, but the whole group can benefit from it. This is, we encourage to keep the whole group
yes.
posted on answers. There is already a file in our group with some questions and answers from previous courses, I believe. Is it in the basic or? Yes. So you can review them as well. Some of them could be answering yours. And if you have some resistance, don't fight it. Like the body will fight for change. Like we don't like changes. Changes bring discomfort, changes bring some emotions and conflict. So we, in our nature, to avoid changes, but it's the only constant thing in our life. Life will change no matter what. And we want to prepare ourselves that changes could be beautiful. They can give us more opportunities. They can give us more results and peace as a result. So practice narrow lines, practice roundings. Next class, Ned will be with you. I will be in California learning constellation work. I'm in a big training right now, but on 28th, 27th, the whole class I will be teaching you. So I promise you will have enough of me. So if you have any questions in the group, we both will answer them. Just tag us. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you everybody for being here with us. Thank you for coming and looking forward to seeing you again. And if you want to post your neural lines or any other drawings, you're welcome to do so in the group. Thank you. Bye.
Have a good day. Have a good night. Bye. Bye, world.
Thank you.
Bye.